Yeah. So always the guys with the biggest audio systems have issues. So yeah, thank you. I can see there is something weird going on with my OBS. Maybe I'm not sure if you guys know that, but echo. Is there an echo? Oh no, it's okay, Paul. Thanks. I didn't get it. Um, so I have this problem with OBS that I have this intro video. I have this intro video and there's sound in there, but for some reason the sound is not playing. So I'm always trying to do to get it. Oh, hello, Bearded Tinker and your viewers. You just joined. So thank you, Bearded Tinker. Thank you, Andre, for sending everybody to me. People who are not yet subscribed to the channel of Bearded Tinker, go there, subscribe to him. And because he's a really actually he's a really nice guy. We have a lot of contact together, Andre and I, and we have some ideas to work together too. But yeah, it's been a little bit of a madhouse last couple of weeks. I will tell you more. So wait a minute, let's clear some pages here. So it was already a month ago that I was here with this stream. Normally I want to do it every 2 weeks, but it was a little bit difficult to arrange that this time. So you had to wait a little bit. Today I did not really prepare a lot. It's just like I'm here for your questions, to answer your questions, do some on the fly creation of dashboards, on the fly creations of automations based on your questions. So if you have use cases that you think, hey, I'm really struggling with this, how do you do this, how do you do that, then I will try to answer them. I'm not saying I can answer every question, because sometimes I really have to do some investigation myself. For instance, if I create a video, that most of the time takes me between 4 to 8 hours to do the investigation and to prepare everything in Home Assistant alone before I can start recording it. So sometimes I need to figure things out, and sometimes it's really easy, and then it takes less time, of course. So let's go quickly through the chat to begin. We hear your voice with echo. No echo here. Somebody say sounds fine. No echo here. So I think, Paul, maybe on your side there might be something else going on, or I have my speakers turned off, so it cannot be on my side. Someone has 2 tabs open. That might also be the case. That is actually a very good suggestion, Vic. Well, I'm honored if somebody is opening 2 tabs to watch this stream, actually. This stream, actually. I think I made this mistake earlier. Anyways, drove me nuts. Yeah, I can totally understand that. Yeah, sorry, 2 tabs. Okay. Props for Automagic Vic. He fixed it. So actually, the first question that was in this stream is answered by Vic and not by me. Wow. So let's see all the. Of course, it's really great that you guys are all here again. So yeah, it's been quite busy. Some guys of you know that next to this work that I do, basically what I'm doing here with this with Home Assistant is my full-time job at the moment. And next to that, I'm also studying. And because it was the 1st of September, my studies started again, and that took away some time from me to do other stuff. And I really want to publish a video every Sunday. at 4 o'clock Central European time. So that's what I'm focusing on to just steadily creating videos with questions. And actually, you guys really, how do you say that? Inspire me with the things that I create, because most of the things that I create are based on questions that I see in forums, or that I see on Facebook, or I see on Twitter, or I see on my Discord channel. Did you know I have a Discord channel, by the way? And then you can chat with me and other guys. Check my website at smarthomejunkie.net, and there is a link in down there. Wait, I can show you. Why? Let me show you. So if we go to what I'm actually doing on this site is that this site contains all the tutorials that I also create videos for, because there are people that rather like to read instead of watching a video. But it is a little bit difficult to monetize things in a blog. So what you see here are the, if you go to the blog, well, that is slow today. Oh, yeah, it's slow because I'm logged in, and then there's no caching, so that's the reason. So all the tutorials that I record are also here, as for you to read. For some people like that more, but actually, it is what you're seeing here is the scripts that I'm writing before I'm creating the videos. But that's not what I wanted to say. I wanted to say that, and again, it's not cached because I'm logged in, is that here is a link to my Discord channel. So if you like to join Discord and chat with me and other people that are there, if you want to have answers quickly, this might be a way to go. You can, of course, also go to the Discord channel of Home Assistant itself. Anyways, so it has been pretty busy, and I was a little bit distracted, and last couple of weeks, and that is because of a thing which is called a 3D printer. So I'm printing like crazy here. I didn't really expect that it was so much fun to have a 3D printer. Basically, people know these things. I'm going to show you other stuff that I printed, and it's really addictive. I think I can also start a 3D printer junkie channel now. So yeah, that is taking a lot of my time too. Also trying to create my own designs and to print my own stuff that I created, and yeah, I have to learn things about that. Anyways, hey Tiske, hello. Welcome to my world. Ask my wife. Yes, Sevach. I understand. Stock firmware on NS Panel Pro. Yeah. It's still stock. It's still, look, it's still the stock firmware, because I, you guys, you probably seen some of you have seen the stream of Bearded Tinker, and you've seen that he installed the Blackadder thing on it so that you can run Home Assistant on it, which is really nice. And I didn't really dare to do that because I was afraid that I couldn't run the stock software, stock firmware anymore after that. But well, I already understood that that is still possible. So maybe I will do that too. So basically, this is now a very expensive clock. Okay. Anyway, 3D printing and home automation works well together. Yeah, that's definitely the case. Talking about a case, this is a case that I built with my 3D printer, and I have more cases that I built. I know it's a different case. So I printed this thing, which is it visible? Yeah, it is. So that is basically for a temperature and light sensor, and a D1 Mini to put together, and then you have your own sensor that can. This is one of those settings. Ooh, that's having trouble with my. Yeah. Mm, I have to tweak something on my camera, I guess. But anyways, I wanted to make my own sensor with which has a light sensor and temperature and pressure. So that's why I printed that one. Anyways, let's see the. Hey Thomas, hello. Let's go through the chat to start with. Daniel, thank you very much for your compliments. Tony, I am trying to pair a native TRV. It flashed quickly, only for a few seconds in pairing mode, then slowly I can't pair it. It seems to use the same interface as Tuya. I think native is Tuya only. But I'm not sure that TRV thing. I don't have anything from native, so I cannot really say what's going on there. If it is, I'm not sure. Maybe you cannot put a link in the chat, I think. But if it is Zigbee, then you should be able to pair it. But it might be that it's not supported by either Zigbee to MQTT or ZHA, whatever one you use. So yeah. James, this is the first time I've watched the stream. I'm thinking of a good question to ask you. You're in Brazil. Great. Wow, people from Brazil are watching. That's really great. Yeah, come on with those questions. I can show you other things too, of course. But I'm trying to see the questions first in the chat. Trying to migrate HA now that SmartThings webcore is gone. Yeah. So dutiful. Let me know what your issues are if you have issues with migrating to Home Assistant, and see if I can maybe give you some advice. Yeah. Hey Joris. Wow, Joris, I didn't expect you to be here. Great, that's a long time ago that we really talked in person with each other. I think that might be like maybe 20 years. So that's wow. Time flies, man. Time flies. 3D printing, yeah. Waiting for the Home Assistant replicator. Not really sure what you mean with replicator. Yeah, Vic, you're right that the D1 Mini should be further apart from the readings because there is coming. So we were talking about this thing, which I printed, and the D1 Mini is in there, and then the temperature sensor is one of these two. I think it's this one. Not sure that it should be in that hole. But yeah, the D1 Mini is, of course, there's heat coming from that. So yeah, the readings should could be off indeed. That's the question on your YouTube. That's the question on your YouTube channel. Thank you. You're welcome, Nigel. Well, okay, there's a question here. Lawrence, what would you recommend for smart switches? I want to do my entire house with smart switches. Bought a house which will be finished next year. Yeah, you're from Netherlands. Okay. I guess you mean smart switches that you can also, that you can also press. I have to be honest with this. That is still a thing that I have to do in my house. So basically, I'm always telling people, if you want to make your house smart, make sure that if you turn off Home Assistant, that it still works. And to be honest, I think if I pull the plug from my Home Assistant, a lot of things are not working anymore. So I cannot say exactly what the best smart plug would be. I know I have a client who has these Sunricher, I think Sunricher smart switches, which I tried to connect with him like 2 months ago or 3 months ago through Zigbee to MQTT, but we had some issues there. But these Sunricher things, they have like multiple buttons on it, and you can connect your lights through wires, but also connect, let's say, through Zigbee. So maybe that's an option. I really have to look into that, but that's quite an expensive thing to do, to change your whole house and change all your switches. And I also have like the wife acceptance factor here, that luckily my girlfriend is she's like, well, she's really mild in her reaction if something doesn't work in my house. But I can totally understand that if your house, your lights are not working anymore, or something is not working anymore, that you're having issues. So yeah. I've got a year. Good advice. Got locked out of my house this week because the server went down. Yeah, Shelly is Wi-Fi indeed. So that's not. I have some Shellys in my house, and they actually they work pretty well. I don't know if you've seen the video about my washing machine, about this video. Where is it? Am I still logged in my own account? I don't think so. Yes, I am. So, oh, wait a minute. Sorry, guys. So this one about the washing machine. Oh, yeah, that doesn't really say anything, of course. You see my face twice. But that's also a Shelly. There's a Shelly plug in there, and that really works. And I also have a Shelly 2.5, and I do have a Shelly dimmer too, and they are quite reliable, to be honest. So I understand that you don't like the fact that they are Wi-Fi, but I'm pretty happy with them. Yeah. Pretty happy. Let's see. KNX. Yeah. Yeah, Richard. Sorry. I think Akara makes Zigbee smart switches. I contacted Akara just a little bit, but I still have to talk more to them to see what we can do. So yeah, there was a question before I started this stream about Node-RED that somewhere in the beginning of this chat, it was, let's say, Daniel, yes, saying that why are you not creating videos about Node-RED? And I get that question often, uh, or more, for more people. And the thing is that well, there are multiple reasons why I'm not using Node-RED. One of the reasons is that it is an extra add-on. It is taking extra resources. It is, something extra in the middle between Home Assistant and other stuff. And so that's something that I don't really fancy, because I really like to use as much as possible within Home Assistant if it's there. The other thing is that automations in Home Assistant, so the automations engine itself in Home Assistant, is really powerful. And you can, I haven't had one use case in all the time that I work with Home Assistant that I couldn't do in automations itself. So if you are clever in using automations together, maybe with template sensors, helpers, and scripts, then you can basically do everything there. And there's another thing which is a bit geeky, maybe, and that is that I'm really, I'm working a lot with Home Assistant, and also at night. or in the evening when I'm in bed, and then I'm thinking of a certain thing that I want to do to automate, and then I want to do that on my phone. So then I'm creating automations on my phone. I don't think that Node-RED is very suitable for that. But I do understand that people really like Node-RED because it's visual. You know, when back in the days when I started with domotics, I also used Blocky because it looked really nice and easy to use. But I didn't use domotics very long because I wanted to do things that were not possible in domotics at that moment. So I went to Home Assistant pretty quick. And the thing is that I've been in IT for over 30 years, and I developed in a lot of different languages. So I know a lot about development. I'm not doing that anymore, by the way, but yeah, you know, and then this whole YAML and automation thing in Home Assistant is pretty natural for me. So that's why I use that. And yeah, yeah, it's a pain in Node-RED. I guess Tiske, you mean on your phone. Everybody click the like button now. Richard, I have the same question. Will be receiving HA yellow U. Okay, let's go over there. Will be receiving HA yellow soon. Now use Zigbee to MQTT. How can we or should we migrate from Sonos Zigbee to the onboard HA yellow? Good question. I do not have a HA yellow. I do know that there is a possibility now. Oh, it's for Zigbee to MQTT, right? Then it's going to be a pain probably. I do know that in ZHA you can now backup your devices, and then go to another platform, or sorry, to another hardware system, and then restore them there, and then it works. It can only be done once, as far as I know. But for Zigbee to MQTT, I don't think that works, because with Zigbee, well, because with Zigbee to MQTT, I can show you, right? I can show you here. If we go to MQTT, let's see where it was again. There is some information about, I'm not sure if I can find the page. There is a page somewhere that shows when you can, what you can migrate and what not. So maybe I can just search migrate. Maybe that works. Probably this is the one. Let's see. This is the page that I was looking for. What does and does not require repairing of all devices. So this is basically saying you have to repair devices. Yeah, here. Switching between adapters requires repairing except when. So I think for Zigbee to MQTT, this means that if you want to go to the yellow, and you used the Sonos stick before, that you have to repair everything, because I think these are different adapters than the one that is in the yellow. And correct me if I'm wrong, because I'm doing some assumptions here, but I'm pretty sure that that's the case. And it only works normally if you have, like, if you go to the same stick, and it's really a pain. I have the same thing in my house. Actually, this is a good topic, because you know, I created this video about the Zigbee dongle E, and it's still experimental, and I also told that in the video. It's experimental, but I still wanted to try it and see how far I could get it. So I got it to work, and I got it to work in my house. So I was like, okay, let's live on the edge, and just, try to pair everything and see how far this will go. And in the beginning, it looked really nice. Everything worked, so I was pretty happy. It was a little bit of a challenge to pair some devices to that dongle E, and that um, so but in the end, I got them all paired, and everything worked in my house, so everything was fine. And then during the week, things started to well, stop working actually. For instance, these things, the Ikea multi-button, whatever it's called, remote, um, that the battery was dead after 2 days. So I was like, that's weird. I never had that before. So that was the first thing. Then I had some Philips U motion sensors that were dropping from the network. So there were definitely still some things going on with that thing. But today, there is a new version of Zigbee to MQTT. I think it's 28.1 that came out today. Was it 28.1? And that solves already quite some issues with that Zigbee dongle E. For instance, it was really hard to pair devices if they were not close to your Zigbee dongle E coordinator. So it wasn't really possible. Well, it was really difficult to pair devices through another router device, like a light bulb, for instance. And so I installed that Zigbee to MQTT version that came out today, and now it paired immediately. So I had this motion sensor from Philips that I really couldn't get to pair through another router, and now I was going to Zigbee to MQTT. I'm not sure if you know how to do that, but if you go to Zigbee to, oh, I see that I forgot to switch the screen. But if you go to Zigbee to MQTT, you have this option here, permit join all. If you click that option, then it's going to say, okay, now I'm open for devices to join the network. But then it's open for, let's say, all the devices that you have in your house. What you can also do is that you can select a specific device that you want that for. Well, for instance, this is also a motion sensor. You probably know this thing from Akara. So sometimes you want this device to pair through a specific other device, so not through your coordinator, but maybe to a light bulb which is nearby. And then you can just choose that light bulb here somewhere, let's say office back left. And then you can say permit join office back left. And now devices can only join through that specific light bulb. And that might be handy sometimes. I understood from some discussions on GitHub that the fact that these things connect through, if you connect them straight through your coordinator, that will cost you a lot of battery. I'm not sure why that is. There were some people saying that. I cannot really prove that, but it was definitely the case that my battery was dead in 2 days. So that's totally not good, of course. Let's see. You had the same question, yeah. So I think I answered that. Thank you, Savor, for your support. I like Node-RED, but it sucks on phone. Yeah, that's true. You're a lucky duck. Okay, let's see. Let's go to the questions. Stiska, I call scenes for lights in Node-RED. It's easy to change color for groups of lights. I'm not sure if that's really different from from Home Assistant, because in Home Assistant you can also create scenes, and then also for groups. So, for instance, oh, that's the wrong one. For instance, if I go to settings and I go to scenes, and let's say office, I have, where is my, oh, sorry, I have to go to scenes first, of course. So if you go to office, and then I have an office scene cold and an office scene cozy. So if I open this one, you can see that I can also add groups here, but the groups are not devices. Groups are entities. So that's the. I had another question about it. I will come to that later, because some people are sometimes ask me, why, when are you using devices and when are you using call servers in an automation? So light groups are entities, and so you can, for a whole light group, you can change the lights. For instance, the lights behind me, let's say if I let's see if I, oh, I already clicked them. So everything is blue now here. If I go to leave office scene cozy, then it's red. Basically, I have them here. So I have a cozy and a cold. So cold, if I click cold, then everything should turn blue. Oh, that's funny. Oh, there we go. It's blue. Yeah, that's probably still because of that Zigbee dongle E. And now it's cozy again. So yeah, it works. So you can use that for light groups too. I'm not sure if that was what you're trying to say, that is possible in Node-RED and not in Home Assistant, but it is also possible in Home Assistant. I'm sure James has a question. I'm sure this is simple to solve. In my Home Assistant automations, I have set up an away mode. However, when I leave and somebody else is at home, it turns on away mode. How can I fix this? Yeah, good question. To be honest, I have a video about that. But I can show you too. And to be more honest, is that last week I released a short video that exactly addresses this thing that you're asking. So let's watch this video together. No, don't do that. But I can show you. What we did in the past was that you could create groups with people in there and saying, if someone is home, and in that group you could see if the group was home or not home. So if everybody in that group left the house, then the status got turned to not home, and if one of the people in that group was in the house, then the status turned to home. A couple of releases ago, I think it's already 3 or 4 months ago, something else is introduced, and that is that we can see it in zones. So let me show you. So you have your zones in Home Assistant, areas and zones, and I'm not sure if I should show this, but anyways, you have your zones here. Clicking it really fast. So okay, and it's gone. You can press pause later, but in your zone, when you start, no, it doesn't make sense to show this like this, but when you install Home Assistant, it asks you basically where is your house, but you can create multiple zones. So for instance, you can also create a zone for your work or for your family or whatever zones you want to create, and then you can see, is somebody within that zone. So if I go to the developer tools and I go to states and I'm going to search for my zone, and I have this zone of my home for my parents, let's say this zone. Now you all know where I'm living. Anyways, that doesn't really matter. Then you see that the state is 4. So that means that there are people at this moment in the house, and you can see at persons that you have a person my girlfriend, my son, myself, and I also have another account which is Smart Home Junkie account. So that it thinks now that that I'm that there are 4 people in the house. So if everybody left the house, then that state will be 0. So what you can do in Home Assistant is, if, for instance, let's create an automation. Uh, let's see how I could check. Well, I can just show you how you can check that. So I'm not going to do anything with a trigger or with a condition, but yeah, let's say I can check if there is somebody in the house or not. So for instance, what I can do now, let's do it with a trigger. Let's create a state trigger. State. And now I'm going to say zone.home. I'm going to say if my zone.home switches to 0, then at that moment everybody left the house. So then I can say, for instance, actions, add action. I'm going to call a service here. And I'm going to say, for instance, well, you can do multiple things. You have the, well, what we can do is, let's take your example. Let's take your example. I'm going to, yeah, let's do that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make an indicator which shows if somebody is home or if there is nobody home. So I'm going to create here a helper first. And so I'm going to, what I did is I go to settings and I go to devices and services. Then I go to helpers. And I'm going to create a helper. And I'm going to say, for this helper, I want to have a toggle helper. So the toggle is going to say it's off or it's on. So if it's off, nobody's home. And if it's on, then somebody is home. So I'm going to create that toggle helper. I'm going to say that helper is somebody home. 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 So now I have this helper created, which is called somebody home. Where are we? Did I do something wrong? Okay, somebody home. And if you look at the info, I can turn it on and I can turn it off. So I can say if it's off, then nobody is home. And if it's on, then somebody is home. So let's create an automation now that makes sure that that thing switches, yes? So I'm going to settings, automations and scenes. I'm going to create an automation and I'm going to start with an empty automation. And we're going to start with adding a trigger. And the trigger is a state trigger. And we are going to say home, zone.home. If zone.home switches to 0, then we want to do something. Now, I'm going to give this a trigger ID. And that trigger ID is called everybody left. And I'm going to add another trigger because I also want to know if somebody, if there is somebody, if somebody came home. There are multiple ways to do this. This is just an example, but maybe it's nice to show you how you can, work with the helpers and automations at the same time. I would probably, when I'm going to sleep tonight, I'm probably going to say, oh, well, you can also do it like that and that. But this is one example. So add trigger, again, state trigger. Again, not home. And I'm going now I'm going to say, I can do 2 things. I can say it's going from 0 to another value. Maybe that's a good idea because sometimes maybe two people will arrive home at the same time. So I'm going to say if it's going from 0 and it changes to something else. So I only have to fill in 0 here, right? So we're going to give this a trigger ID too. And that trigger ID is someone came home. So now I have two triggers: when home changes to 0 or when home changes from 0, right? Now we go to add action, and we are going to, well, okay. We can choose two things. We can either choose the choose action here, or we can choose the if then action. And that is because the choose action, okay, I'm trying to explain this as good as possible. So what we have two choices in our trigger. We have a choice when home changes to 0 and when home changes from 0. If you have two choices, you can use an if then. If you have more than two choices, you need to choose, because then you have to choose between more things. And if then is that you can say if home changes to 0, then do something else. And the else is then this: when home changes from 0, do something else. So let's say we make it simple. We do an if then. And the if condition is triggered by going to say everybody left. So everybody left the house. That is this thing, because this is called everybody left. See, yes, everybody left. That is the same as this one. So that automatically uses that. And what do we want to do if everybody left? We want that switch, that helper, to switch to 0, right? Or to switch to off. So we're going to say call service, and the service is a Boolean turn off, because that toggle helper is actually an input Boolean. So input Boolean turn off. We're going to choose the entity that is our somebody home entity, somewhere down here, somebody home. So what I'm saying here is, if everybody left, then turn off somebody home. Okay, and we can add an else. So else, what do we do? What do we want to do if there's if an other trigger is triggered? Well, the only other trigger that we have is this one, when home changes from 0. So then we're going to say, okay, when home changes from 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, many people can enter the house at the same time. But let's say here, we're also going to call the service, and the service is also called Boolean, input Boolean, turn on. And now we are going to say, where is he? Somebody home. Okay, somebody home. So if we, you actually can read this a little bit. So if the trigger condition, everybody left, what a nice thing to do here is, and that's also since last release of Home Assistant, that you can rename these things. So I can rename this. So I can say, if some if everybody left the house, you can actually sort of read it, right? If everybody left the house, then input Boolean turn off somebody home. So then turn off somebody home, else turn on somebody home. So if I save this is already working now. It's not harming. Oh, I have to give it a name. Helper. Helper. Oh, it doesn't matter. Show if someone is home or not. So actually, it's a little bit difficult now to show, because everybody there are people in the house. No, I cannot. I mean, I have to leave here, because then it would work. But well, maybe I can put my phone on 4G. But anyways, then you so what now happens is that this helper, we go to settings, devices and services, helpers, and we go to that helper, somebody home. That this helper gets now switched. It looks now that it shows that nobody is home, but that is because I just created this helper that automation never triggered, because everybody is home. So there is no difference between 0 or something more. So just put it on. Now it is like how it should be. And if everybody left the house, then it would be another value, and you can use this on your dashboard to indicate if somebody is home, or maybe can use it in other automations. So that is actually one thing that I really would encourage you to do, is to use helpers more, because helpers are very helpful. um, because you can store a certain state in there, and you can use that state for other automations, or for other scripts, or for your dashboards. And there's a lot of people that don't really use that. And if you use it, you can make things, automations really small, scripts really small, but you can actually also daisy chain scripts and automations. Uh, well, let's say daisy chain automations, because you can trigger an automation based on the state of an helper. So imagine that you have like two automations, and this one automation sets helper A, and automation B triggers on helper A. That means that if automation A triggers helper A, then automation B sees, hey, helper A is triggered. Now I have to do something. And so in this way, you can daisy chain all kinds of automations together, and then you can make really complex, um, let's say, trains of functionality with very small reusable automations. I have a video about that one if you want to know which one it is, because there I explain it more in detail in that video. It's already a little bit older video, um, but it's really worth watching that one. Um, it is the video about, oh man, so many videos already. This one, combine how to combine buttons and automations in Home Assistant. Watch that one. That's really a video that might be an eye opener for you if you're starting out with automations and not using helpers a lot yet. So yeah, okay. There is a lot of text coming by. I hope that was a little bit more. I hope it was clear what I just told you. I can see for my lights. Away mode, yeah, that's the away mode. What's the best add-on to track family phone over a map, not only when they connect to the Wi-Fi of the house? Well, Anas IoT. Actually, the best app, if I understand your question correctly, is the Home Assistant Companion app. Because the Home Assistant Companion app already tracks where you are, if you give it at least the right security rights in your phone. And so if you want to know, there are there's one video that I created about that. Maybe you can look it up in that video. That is, oh wait, just turn off the chat. That is this one about geofencing in Home Assistant. If you watch that one, this is actually a video which is doing exactly that. It shows you where you are, or it shows where you are, and you can create like, well, it's not 100%, to be honest. It is like, what this geofencing video does is it gives you some insight in how to show if somebody is coming within a certain range around a certain zone, and then act upon that. So I'm not sure if I answered your question with that, but I hope so. I have the bigger Sonos dongle plus with 92 devices. Yeah. Actually, I believe that people are always afraid that their coordinator, so their dongle, will not work if there are a lot of devices connected to it. There is a limit, of course, but the thing is that if most of the time, if they say this dongle can only support 40 devices at the same time, then it means that these are 40 devices that are connected to that coordinator directly. But that's not how Zigbee works, because Zigbee is a mesh network. So most of the time, only a couple of devices are connected to your coordinator if you set it up correct, and other devices are connected through other devices which are connected to that coordinator. Um, Daniel, about your question about combining smart bulbs with smart switch, um, that's difficult question for me because I don't have that. I don't have that either. I know what I just said about these Sunricher switches, that they should work like that. So they give constant power, but I'm also but you can also use you can also um, switch. Well, I what I believe is what they do is that if you click on a button, that you automate that. So basically, let's say I think there are like 4 buttons on it. It depends on which version you have. So if you click on that button, then that button is not really switching like the lights off, because a smart bulb will not work if there's no power. It will not be smart anymore. So what these buttons do is that you have to create automations to make sure that these buttons switch your lights. So it's not like a real power outage or switching off. It is trying to be a router. I have to pick a soon. It is hard to change colors in Node-RED. Okay, I didn't know that, Tieske. I'm not aware of that. Alexandru, did you have any problems with IKEA Treasury remotes? I had like 3 small 2-button remotes, and they all had problems with battery reporting or just stopped working. Yeah, that's basically. I think that's the same issue as I had with this one. I must say, with the combi stick that I used before, I never had any issues. No battery drains at all. No drop-offs. Um, that was mostly when I used decons and my combi stick. I now use the Sonoff, the newest Sonoff stick, so the Dongle E, and that is not working fine yet with this one. I must say I installed um, the latest version of Zigbee to MQTT. I already told that this hour, and it works a lot better. And I still have to try if this one now doesn't drain the battery anymore. So I'm going to try that maybe tomorrow somewhere. I can do it right now, but I'm not sure if that makes any sense. Um, Benjamin, how to migrate Home Assistant to a new system? Probably you mean to new hardware, right? Um, that okay. Again, it depends. It really depends on how yeah what devices you have connected. But generally, you could say you can create a backup of Home Assistant. Then you install Home Assistant on another device, and during that install, you can restore that backup. That is working for a lot of things, but not for everything. So, for instance, if you have, that's something that we also discussed a little bit already, is like, one moment. We'll try to, maybe I can show it like this. That would probably looks better. So I have this gateway that was sent to me, and this gateway is a gateway that also already has Zigbee on board and already has Z-Wave on board, and a newer version of this also has BLE on board. And then let's say that I want to move my Home Assistant from my Home Assistant Blue to that thing. Then then you have an issue there because you are using a different Zigbee gateway. You're using a different Zigbee coordinator. If you use a Philips Hue bridge, for instance, then you do not have a problem because that bridge contains all the information of your lights and all the Zigbee stuff. Oh, by the way, what also was a battery drain, and I was really not happy about that, is this thing. That is the Hyman. I'm not sure how you pronounce it, but smoke sensor. And these things contain these batteries. And the thing is, these batteries are quite expensive. Um, and I installed Zigbee Dongle E, and these got drained within a couple of days too after that. And that's what I'm not happy about because, in the Netherlands, where I live, is um, fire smoke sensors are now you have to have them in your house. So they if you don't have them and you have a fire, then you're not insured, basically. So that was something that I was also not very happy about. But that's just a side note. So Benjamin, sorry, oh, Alexandru, yeah, I see that. I see that. Oh, sorry, Benjamin. Yes, I see that Alexandru already also answered that. Download the backup, do fresh install, then restore the backup. Yes, that is true, but only if you use the same, let's say for Zigbee, the same coordinator. Otherwise, you have to repair everything. Hi, Sergio. How to make a notification if an automation fails? That's a good question. That's actually a good question. Um, I would have to think about that. I'm really thinking now about, okay, what use case would you have? Would you In what use cases would you do that? I'm not sure if we can try to find this. Maybe it's funny to just try to. Let's see. I have this is my dev environment. This is my production environment. Let's see in the dev environment. This one is the nightly build. So we're basically, well, I do not have lots of devices connected to this one, but this is the nightly build. So every day, every night, you have a new build of Home Assistant. So this might be buggy, but then you are like on the bleeding edge of Home Assistant. And by the way, I also wanted to go through the release notes of the beta. So what will be there next Wednesday? So stay tuned if you want to know that. Um, I'm not really sure if you can do this. If you create automation, start it. I think it's. Hmm. Let's see if we can. Yeah, I'm not sure if an automation. What I'm trying to do. I never did this, to be honest. It's a good it's a challenging question. So the question is, what happens? How can you check if an automation fails, or can you send a notification if an automation fails? Um, I'm trying to. No, I don't think so. I I would have to investigate that. I was thinking maybe I can see something on the entity what the state is, or maybe there's an event somewhere with automations that I can see if an automation does not. I don't know. Maybe somebody else knows in the chat. Would be nice. Um, Django, how could I fix the problem in a room? The light gets out if we are long there. No matter I move, no matter I move in that room. Um, Thank you, Django, for your support. Um, let's see. I'm not sure if I get your question right, Django. Uh, wait a minute. Where are you? Where is your question? Uh, oh, some other people are already answering. The thing is actually what I do with this is that no matter I move in that room, I'm not sure what you mean with no matter I move in that room. Do you mean that you are sitting really still, or that it still goes out even when you move? Because in that case, then there might be an issue with your motion sensor or with your automation. Um, but what I often do is that in certain rooms I set the time of my automation to turn so in my automation to turn off the light. I set that time really long. So for instance, if I create an automation here, automation and scenes, create automation, start with empty automation, add trigger. Let's say I have a device of his motion sensor. And then say office motion sensor stop detecting motion. What you can do is you can fill in the duration here. So what I do in those rooms where I do not move a lot. So for instance, where I'm sitting now, I have a motion sensor over there. You cannot see it, but it's over there. And when you're working, you're sitting pretty still. So what I'm doing is that I'm setting this to like 10 minutes or so. So most of the time, within 10 minutes, there will be a little bit of motion, and then it will be fine. I'm not sure if that answers your question. There are other solutions. Actually, Lewis from Everything Smart Home created a new sensor. It will be on the market somewhere. Let's say everything. Shop. I had a link to that thing. Oh, wait a minute. It's in one of my videos. I can find it. I can find this because I created this toilet occupancy video that shows how you can detect motion in your toilet. And I had, where is, here it is, a link to Lewis's shop. Yeah, here it is. Opening soon. That is weird. It changed. Okay, it changed. He changed the link. Sorry, guys. I wanted to show you this, but anyways, he created a new sensor that does a lot of things with occupancy and seeing if you are actually in that room. So maybe you can try that, or you can try the Akara. What is it called? Akara FP1. Uh, FP1. Yeah, this thing. It is quite expensive, but this thing can also detect, well, basically detect presence. That's something else is detecting motion. So, but yeah, there is like a price tag on this thing, which I think it's a little bit expensive for detecting motion in my case. But yeah, maybe you can try that thing. Um, it's always difficult if I'm James. I see that you thank me for clarifying something, and I'm not sure what exactly I clarified for you now because there's so many things going on. So I'm glad that I could clarify it. Um, for me, it's no problem if my home assistant could work with Galaxy Wear, but I don't. I have a Galaxy. I don't know. I cannot say anything. Message retracted. Sergio, is it possible to connect a data SIM card that sends a message when the main internet loses connection? Um, Not sure. I didn't. I didn't use that. No. Okay, Anas. Okay, thank you for clarifying more. Thanks for the reply, but the geofencing is only to check if people enter certain zone. But I was asking if I can see where is any person from my family over a map if they're out the country, for example. Um, there are apps for that. So uh, I had an app which I used a couple of, well, for more than a year. I have to search again. What was its name again? Wait a minute. Give me a second. Presence detection. Was it this one? I'm searching now. I'm not sure what the name of that app was again, because there was some people were not really happy with that because that app was not so privacy friendly because it went through the cloud. Um, I cannot find the app at the moment. Oh, what is the name? 360 Live 360. It's called, yeah, Live 360. That's the name. That's an app with Live 360. You can see where everybody is on a map. So, but then everybody has to have that app on his phone. Um, do you have any recommendation for a front door lock with Zigbee or Z-Wave as bonus? One with a fingerprint reader. Z-Wave. I do not have a front door lock because for some reason I don't really trust these things. And that's just a gut feeling. So it's not something that I know in the Netherlands we have this version. I can show you. I think you can buy it everywhere. And that looks really nice. It's in the locked, locket. I'm not sure what the name is. Oh, yeah. Sorry, guys, it's in Dutch. Maybe I can put it to, yeah. So now it's in English. And this one is, I think, also with fingerprint detection. If I'm not sure, I if I'm sure, if I'm not mistaken, I thought this was also with fingerprint detection. I don't think it is Zigbee, but I can be wrong. I hear a lot of good things about this lock. I was so if you want to, maybe you can look it up yourself. It's locked in the chat. Oh, it's the wrong. Sorry. Link in the chat. Maybe that's an option for you. Is device tracker still working? I just got a TP-Link Archer router and would like to detect when certain clients are connected to the network. Using TP-Link as the platform causes a config error. Okay. Jesse, I also have TP-Link. I do not have an Archer router, but I have the Deco. Let's just find out, because in Hacks there is an integration for TP-Link, but that's for TP-Link Deco. So that might not work for, let's see if maybe it says that it also works for your type of router. Because this is actually what I use to see if somebody is in my house or not. So basically what this does for other people is that the TP-Link is a router, and what it does is if somebody is connected to your Wi-Fi, then you can see that if somebody is connected to your Wi-Fi, and then you can say, okay, that person is probably home. No, it's only deco. Yeah, it's only deco. So maybe Hex has another one, and maybe there is even another. Let's just see. DB link. DB. Oh, let's see if we have devices and services. Add integration. No, I don't know. I don't know. Um, a lot of people are retracting messages. What's going on? I missed something. What's going on, guys? Um, okay. I hear they sell your data. Yeah, that was the reason why people do not like Live 360. I understood Deco was just to see smart devices. No, no, it's not, because if I go to my, I believe it's not. Let's see Deco. Nee, that's it. Um, see here, I see everything which is connected to TP-Link Deco. So let's see. There's also my phone is connected. My iPads are connected. Phones are connected. Laptop, my Octopi, which I use for my 3D printer, is connected. I see a lot of stuff connected here. But if you mean with that, it's if you mean the phones are also smart devices, yes. Then in that case, yeah. But I think, well, no, the laptop of my daughter was also connected, so it's also laptops. Um, okay. Is there any example to create a custom integration? I have all the Python code working with it. Yeah. Um, I started, Willem, I started working with that, creating integrations myself. But it took me too much time. And there is a lot of documentation, but I must say that it's, for me, it's also, I found it also very difficult to go through this documentation and find out. So yeah. Um, okay. Okay. Yes. Yes. Okay. Yeah. Anyways, fun stuff to show, which I did with my 3D printer. Um, which, well, you might have seen that I'm a musician too, and I needed to have this one. Isn't that cool? It's like a holder for my plectrums, and it's so nice. This this print material. It's so it has multiple colors, so it looks really nice. And you also have an olive version of it, which is this one. Yeah, it's really addictive. Then another thing, an ocarina. You can play on it. Let's see if I can get some sound out of this thing. Okay, here we go. Okay, I won't torture you with this anymore. But the nicest thing that I printed now, and actually I had to do it like 5 times before it worked, that is this one. Don't you love this? That is a piggy bank. And it looks really awesome. It was very difficult to print, but it looks so nice. It's an excellent design. So yeah, that is so funny to create all these things with 3D printers. So yeah, but let's go to the release notes um, of the beta, and let's see if we can try something out from there. Oh, smart log. Okay. Hey, Rich. Great to see you here, man. That's a long time no see.